So I just saw Scream 7 with Andrew, and before I get started, I asked some true movie heads what their thoughts were on the movie. So here are some clips of that.
Finnegan, pay attention. This is important. Important journalism happening. What do you think of Scream 7? No further comments? What do you think of Scream 7? Me too. What did you think of Scream 7? I liked it also. Thank you.
As you can see, those were my actual animals. So obviously, I'm not taking it. That's not very serious. It's just meant to be funny. But I did see Scream 7, and I liked it. And I know, like, of course, I liked it. I basically said the other day, I like everything that I watch. Referencing the square where it's like good movie, I liked it. Bad movie, I liked it. Bad movie, I didn't like it. Good movie, I didn't like it. This is one of those like bad movies, but I liked it. And I guess to start, so there's going to be spoilers. Everything I do is spoilers. I don't really believe in not spoiling if you're talking about something, because I don't really care about spoilers myself. Oh, Jet just stepped all over me. Um, so for context, I went into this knowing it's a Scream movie and knowing that movies are deeply unserious. Like I think Scream is a deeply unserious franchise. Even the first one is deeply unserious. It's not really meant to be like this, very serious movie. It's tongue in cheek. It's making fun of slashers. That's kind of what it's kind of its name to fame is. And it obviously it expounds upon that. The more the movies go on, they continually make fun of meta. And then eventually you get to Scream 7 where it's, the snake eating its own tail and it's making kind of fun of it's kind of making fun of itself. And I'll talk about why I think that's funny in a little bit because I read a bunch of comments online and I want to talk about it, but I want to get through talking about the movie first. But some of the takes online are just funny and like I gotta talk. So anyway, so this movie is set brief plot. Sydney is living in a small town. I think it's Texas at Pine Grove with her daughter and her husband. She has two other kids who are established as being away with their grandparents. And, her and her daughter butt heads. Her daughter's like, I don't know anything about you, but obviously Sydney doesn't want to share her past with her daughter because her past is littered with a bunch of teenager bodies. And so she obviously doesn't want to talk about that. Her husband, Mark, is a police chief. She owns a little coffee shop in the town, which is important because it is used as one kind of like one of the final, chase set scenes. Um, so that's kind of the backstory. Uh, so I liked it. I liked this movie. Um, I thought that Nev Campbell stole the show like she normally does. She plays Sydney very well. She's been playing Sydney for a long time, and she gets it right basically every time. I like Sydney a lot. Her presence was sorely missed in the last one in six, which is something that's brought up quite a bit. And when I get to the part of the killers, I'll talk about why that is important. And then you have your typical cast of whodunit teenage characters. You have Asa Garden who's from who plays Sam in Generation B from The Boys. If you need a context point, he plays Luke, who is the neighbor to Sydney and her family. And then you have Mindy and Chad returning from the last one. Chloe, who is one of the people who is in the bar. You have Hannah, who is Tatum's friend who dies first. And then you have obviously Tatum and her boyfriend, Ben, who in typical Scream fashion, they, do that's the boyfriend, the killer. They do that all the time. That's very typical Scream. So they have, their suspects, their list of suspects. And what I find interesting about this one is they do something where they kill one of the Ghostface killers right in the first like 30 minutes of the movie. And it's this random guy. So they do kind of establish him. So he picks up coffee from Sydney at the bar. His name is at the coffee shop she runs, and his name is Carl. And Gil kills him within the first like 40, 30, 45 minutes of the movie, and they unmask him and they're like, I don't know who this guy is. So they've already done something a little different where they've killed a ghost face killer in the first act of the movie. And then the second act, they go to the insane asylum he's from and they do some investigation and they come to so I gotta back it up. I got very excited talking about this. So the Ghostface killers are using like a deepfake AI of Stu Macher to kind of taunt Sydney and her family. So Stu Macher AI deepfake calls her, and her daughter does like acting or something for the high school. So he calls her and he's like, I'm right outside the high school. So the whole kind of thing is Stu Macher alive or not? Um, and obviously, and I'll talk about this when we talk about the comments about the reviews online, is obviously Stu Walker is actually dead. They didn't dig him up to put him into this movie, but it's something that the Ghostface killers use to kind of taunt Sydney and Gail uh, to induce terror. So Carl is the first killer. So he kills Tatum's friend Hannah, which I thought was a very good death scene. And so they're doing their play, and everyone goes off stage, of course, and leaves her and this other kid alone. And she's practicing going up and down in the harness. So she's playing like a fairy. She looks like she's playing like a godmother fairy type of thing. Um, and so Ghostface kills the kid that's operating it, terrorizes her a little bit with that. And then as she's swinging back and forth, sh the Ghostface killer stabs her a couple times and then slits her stomach open and all her guts fall out. So pretty brutal for a Scream kill, which is funny because if I remember correctly, Kevin and Nev Campbell didn't like how brutal 5 and 6 were. So it's kind of weird that there's a couple brutal kills in this one, and I'll talk about another one in a little bit when I get to the bar scene. But that is the first like friend group kill. I also really like the opening. So the opening scene is um, Madison and Scott, her boyfriend, who are the first, sacrificial kills of the movie. Um, they go to the the Mocker house, and it's been turned into like this, fright attraction. Like you go and I think you stay the night is the kind of the idea I got from it. So, Scott is a big Stab fan. Stab is the in-universe Scream franchise that makes fun of Scream a lot. And they're going, and obviously the Stab franchise is based off of the first Scream movie. So in universe, the stuff that happens in the first Scream movie and the second Scream movie, and really all the Scream movies, is canon in universe that they make fun of in the in universe Stab movies that are all based off of kind of this lineage of tragedy that is Sydney's life. So they go there, and it's like this fright attraction. You stay overnight, and I like all of the setup in that. I thought the suspension and tension was good. Madison is obviously not a big horror fan. Scott is a huge horror fan. They do the whole call back to the call of the first one where it's like, you like scary movies, here we'll play a quiz, if you get it wrong I'll kill you. And I did think it was kind of interesting how it sets up that. So taking it back one more step, so the whole kind of theme of this movie is that you can rely on people, you should trust people, but also you need to know how to fend for yourself. And this is one of those moments where Scott, so they ask all these questions, he gets them all right. And then the first two questions he gets right. And the third one they ask about, well, what is Jason Voorhees' age? Or when did he die? Well, what age was he when he died? So Scott's going through all the movies and he's like, well, he was born here, he died, mom did this here, so he must have drowned at like 11 or something. So Madison's like, no, he never dies. And the never dying is the correct answer. So that's one of the things where, you know, that's the theme in action. The theme in this fucking Scream movie. There is really like, it's just funny. This is like what I said the other day, where even bad movies have themes. They have things to say. Like even Scream 7 for how like bad it is still has stuff to say. Um, so in it, they set up this AI robot Ghostface, and it's the first fake out scare. Madison goes into the room, it's dark, and then the AI robot thing activates and it scares her. So Scott comes in, they turn the lights on, and he's like, "Oh no, see, it's AI, it's following his hand." So they set up the following the hand. And obviously, if you've seen Scream, you know that that's obviously gonna be what kills them. Someone's gonna come and take the place of it and kill them. That's what happens. Um, One thing I did like about the opening scene is Madison is fucking she's a tough bitch. I liked her. I kind of wish she survived. She beats the shit out of Ghostface. It's unfortunate that she lost to a chandelier in the end, and then the Stumacher house gets burned down. So the burning of the past, not letting it persist. Um, So I thought that was a really good cold opening. It's probably one of my favorite cold openings just because Madison is hilarious. There's this hilarious bit where she gives Scott like this right hook to the fucking face because he disappears to go to the bathroom and then he comes back and pretends to be Ghostface to kill her. The second, like, you know, fake out scare. And she just right hooks the shit out of him. It's so funny. He fucking deserved it. Like, dog, why would you do that to your girlfriend who's clearly scared and doesn't want to be here? Fucking asshole. Ditch that dude. Just kidding. Um, so yeah, I want to talk a little bit about the plot. One of I can't do this without talking about the comments. So something I've seen reviews online being like, "Ooh, this is not a true like Scream movie because it's not a whodunit. They kill one of the killers, one of the accomplices in the first like half an hour of the movie. Like, don't try to out meta the meta. You're never gonna win for the meta. Like, Scream is not that deep of a movie. It's kind of baffling to me how people are acting like this is somehow going against the grain of Scream, like how it is as a franchise. Like, it's funny because when you watch this movie and you read the comments, the fans who are sick of a franchise getting worse over time, like literally look, it's like holding the mirror to the audience, reading the reviews of this movie. They they don't get it. They just don't get it. I guess. I hate that. I hate that. I hate that phrase. You just don't get it. It's just so deep. Like Scream is not deep. Oh, I hate it. I hate saying that. I just hate it. I hate it. I hate it. But it's so true. Like Scream is not that deep. I think the more interesting thing for around this movie is the comments. Because if you read the comment and you see the reviews, it gets really bad reviews. And I've seen a lot of people being like, "Okay, I need to read back up." So the reason why I think the comments are more the discourse around Scream 7 is more interesting to talk about than the actual movie because the movie is good. I think it's good. It's fun. It's a Scream movie. It's again, it's not that deep. It's not that serious. Things happen, people get scared. There's good tension where there needs to be tension. There's good suspense. It has an overall good message. I like the relationship between Sydney and her daughter Tatum. Especially as someone who is a mom of a teenager, like you're not always firing on the same cylinders. And Sydney has a lot of, reason to be guarded and not share her past with her teenage daughter. It's not really something that he needs to burden her with. Um, and when they reconcile at the end, I thought that was nice. I also thought that when Sydney was talking about why she named her Tatum after her friend who died in the first movie, the girl who got her head squished by the garage door, I thought that was also a very sweet moment. So people complaining about that, like it's about Sydney like forging relationships with people because she's not someone who trusts people a lot. I mean, they even do like a reconciliation with Gail where, at the end she's like, I always said I don't trust people, but it's not true. I've always trusted you. You've always been there for me. I should have been there with you in New York because Gail gets attacked in New York. And, remember in the last one, Scream 6, Dewey dies and Gail gets attacked. And I like that. Speaking of, consequences of Scream being one linear story, is that they have Gail have nerve damage from the attack in New York when she gets stabbed in the shoulder slash arm. So I like that. And again, Gail is also dealing with loss. She lost Dewey, who's been her on and off again romantic partner for a long time. Even if they had a turbulent, very obviously turbulent relationship in the last movie. Um, so I want to get through all the stuff before I talk about the comments because I just want to talk about the fucking comments, the reviews. I read them and it just baffled me. Um, so I'm going to try to go through a lot of these things kind of quickly because again, I think the discourse around Scream 7 is more interesting than Scream 7. Scream 7 is a pretty boilerplate Scream movie. So talking about the kill scenes, pretty brutal. I like the kill scene with Lucas. His they so there's a curfew, which is fun during the curfew. There's a callback to the original movie where they have the curfew in Scream 1. There's a song that plays during it that they call back in this one. So they set a curfew, obviously, because a bunch of people are dying from the Ghostface killer, and they know that now there's even though they had killed one, Sydney was they've reestablished that there's other ones while they investigate because everybody knows from the stab movies that there's always multiple killers. It's never just a solo Ghostface killer. Because, like I said, in universe, stab is the in universe Scream, where Scream is canonically events that happened to Sidney Prescott. Um, so they do a curfew so that they can keep people safe. And during the curfew, all the kids sneak out. They go to this bar that's owned by Chloe, and of course, Chloe's parents, and of course, the Ghostface killers come and they kill them all. And Lucas has probably the worst death, which is funny because one of the Ghostface killers, spoilers, is his mom. So clearly his mom just fucking killed him. So she puts his head through a spiky beer tap, and the tap like turns on, so the beer starts coming out of his mouth. And of course it's mixed with like brain and viscera and all that stuff. So I turned to Andrew, who likes Bud Light, and I was like, "You want a Blood Light?" I know it's really funny. I'm really funny. I'm a funny person. I can't help it. Uh, so I thought that was a good kill scene. And they kill off Chloe. I talked about Hannah dying. There's a fake out death for Mark, Sydney's husband, who gets stabbed in the construction is going on in their house, which so just a little nitpick, but being someone who's grown up around contractors all their life, I have never been on a job site where they just have plastic sheets hung everywhere. I know it's a movie, so they're setting up like the movie cinematic stage. It's just funny if you're someone who knows how construction works, because that's just not how it would be. But anyway, again, it's a movie. It's not real life. It's not supposed to be real life. It's supposed to be a set. And like I said, these are not scripted. So this is like the peek into the mind of someone who just likes movies and likes talking about them. So I'm trying to like get everything, but obviously that's not going to happen. These are unscripted. They'll be edited lately, but unscripted. I had something in my head I want to talk about, and it's not coming to me. Oh, it's about Gail. So there was, I had kind of thought that maybe they were going to try to make her the killer, but then thinking about it, that they could have done something interesting where she was the Ghostface killer, but I also understand that that would have been really cheap, and that probably wouldn't have been a very good story because kind of like the friendship between Gail and Sydney is one of the threads of Scream. But I thought she was kind of a pointless inclusion. She comes in and they do like this on-air live interview to try to draw out the Ghostface killers, and you know Gail says a lot of things about asks a bunch of questions about Sydney's kids, which upsets her. Um, and then they do the whole like, Sydney, you're hurt, but I'm too because I lost Dewey. I really do think that should have been cut out. It could have been cut out. It didn't do anything. It's not like that action drew out the Ghostface killers, and it does a thing that movies or shows that do where it relies on somebody watching something in particular at that very moment so that they can react to it. And that drives me crazy because not only is that highly coincidental where that happens, it's almost unrealistic. Like I get in this, they kind of set up that everybody gets like a push notification and it's going to be on every TV. But still, like we don't know if the Ghostface killers watch TV. We don't know if they have cell phones. We assume they do, but I just don't like the pure coincidence stuff. But again, it's a movie, so the scene had to happen so that Gail and Sydney could have sort of like a moment of reasoning where Sydney, who has been kind of like the main girl of every of the entire franchise, where everything bad has happened to her, where they could have a moment where Gail is like, Sydney, I've also been affected by this whole the events of this whole franchise. Again, I think Gail could have been cut out, but I understand she is obligatory. And again, she could have been cut out because she disappears for half of the movie and nothing changes. It's not like her inclusion. It doesn't change the course of the movie. I mean, I guess she kills the first killer, but you could have had just like a random person run him over. It's yeah. That's my big criticism is I thought Gail was unimportant to the narrative. So, okay, I've been fucking chomping at the bit to do this. I want to talk about the comments. So, I've seen comments online where people are like, "This is not a true Scream movie. Um, this is disappointing." You know, they do all this stuff where they bring back like Sydney and Gail and they do all this nostalgia bait. Like, did you guys watch the movie? I don't think they watched the movie. Again, I don't think they got it. It's funny because Scream is not that deep, but I'm losing credibility. But I don't think they get it. So the movie like makes fun of that. It's crazy because the movie is making fun of the fans when you like so one of the Ghostface killers, their motivations are that Sydney wrote a book that she wrote, I think, in two or three, and it changed their lives. So Jess, who is the neighbor, who is one of the Ghostface killers who kills her son, she talks about how it made her leave her abusive husband. She killed him. And then Ethan, who or I think his name is Mark in the movie, is he works at the insane asylum. He's like one of the keepers, one of the grounds people or nurses or something. And he says, "Oh, it also changed her life." And then she disappeared, and that upset them, and that made them like want to plan all these murders to bring her out because they don't think now that she's like this housewife who owns like a little coffee shop in a little town, she's not how she used to be. Like literally, the meta is leaking into the real world. These people do not realize that like the comments you're making are the comments that are like literally addressed in the movie. Like Jess literally says to Sydney, like, "You're not the Sydney that I used to know. You're not the Sydney that you used to be. I need to make you the Sydney that you used to be by doing all this stuff, or I'm gonna make Tatum be the next Sydney, the Sydney 2.0." And I've seen people complaining about how that's like a conflicting motive. Like again, did you guys watch the movie? It's, the point is that Jess is mentally unwell, first off. And second off, it's that this is what people do with franchises. If they're not going to pull they literally talk about pulling Jodie Foster out of the grave for the Halloween movies. If you're not going to pull Jodie Foster out of the grave, then you need to make a new final girl if you're going to continue these movies. And they've been trying to do that with other movies, like Halloween. They try it. Fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they try it. Like all of these movies are trying to either make the next generation's, final girl. In this case, it would be like Sydney, the next generation Scream, Sydney Prescott, like Jenna Ortega or whatever was gonna be that person or whatever. Or they're just gonna keep bringing Nev Campbell back until she can't do it anymore. There was a comment that was made in one of the servers I'm in that was like, "Scream 70 is going to be Nev Campbell in a nursing home on dialysis fighting Ghostface, and please let that happen." If anybody is like from whoever makes Scream, I can't remember, maybe Warner Brothers. If you're watching this, please make that happen. It'd be so funny. I'd be so here for it. And people would still complain that it's not meta enough. It's fun. It's it's funny because the meta is making fun of the fans that complain about this. It's like Kevin Wilkerson looked into the future and saw that people would complain about this, and he literally addressed it in the movie. Like the whole movie is about fans being one, crazy about the things that they like, because Lucas is obsessed with Sydney, his mom's obsessed with Sydney. There's other people who are obsessed with Sydney because of Stab. Uh, and that they get mad when it changes. Like, look at Predator Badlands. Look at all the people who are mad about Predator Badlands because they thought it wasn't a real Predator movie because the Predator has human characteristics and not just like a bloodthirsty killing machine. Like, again, they're making fun of the fans. The meta has leaked into the real world. And that's why it's so funny to see all this discourse online because it's like, again, did you watch the movie? It just baffles me how people can sit there and say, like, this is not a good Scream movie because it wasn't meta or subversive enough. Like, bitch, you you are the subversion that they're talking about. The discourse is the more interesting part of Scream 7 because the discourse is what is being made fun of in Scream 7. The nostalgia, this is not how it used to be. You are not who I think you are, or who I used to think you were, discourse. That's why it's so funny. That's why it's, like I said, it's more interesting to talk about the discourse around it than it is to talk about the actual movie. Because I think Kevin Wilkerson had the time machine and he went into the future and he saw what the comments would be and he made a movie based off of the outrage from the comment. It's just funny. Again, I don't think these people watch the same movie. And I hate saying that because it's so pretentious sounding. But I read the comments and I'm like, there's one comment there, this comment chain that was like, is this the was this the meta? No, this wasn't the meta. You just didn't understand it. Like, no, if you're arguing about what the meta was of Scream, like what the meta subtext was for Scream, then you've missed the entire point of this movie. It was not to try to be subversive. Like, this is a fairly straightforward slasher, which is not something that Scream like typically does. But again, complaining about this is the meta of Scream, is complaining about how the thing that you like isn't the same as what you used to be, and Jess is the mouthpiece of that, saying that Sydney is not who she used to be or who she used to think she was, who just had an idealized version of Sydney in her head for what Sydney was, and then Sydney is not that person that she thinks it is, that she is, so that upsets her. And obviously, like, people are gonna go out and murder because of Scream, I hope not. But, like, again, the whole meta text of this movie is the real life. The meta is leaked into the real life, to the real world. I can't believe Scream has become real world. It's just so funny to me reading all these comments. It's like, oh my god, people, stop living for nostalgia. It would be so boring if Scream just did the exact same thing all the time. I like that they make the killers unrelated to Sydney. It's nice. It's a nice change of pace. Like, because in the Scream universe, they set up that Stab has like this really big cult following. So, like, of course, there would be people who would be a little mentally unhinged, who would attach to Sydney like Jess does, and would take that over the top. Like, there's people that do that in real life. Have you, none of these people seen like K-pop like fans or like idols in in Asia? There's voice actors and animators and writers who get death threats from fans now over things. Like, this is not out of the realm of possibility. That's why it baffles me that people are like, it's stupid that like she's just a someone who was a fan of Sydney who doesn't think Sydney is how she is and how she thinks she is anymore, and she disappeared and that made her upset. Like, no, literally that happens in real life. Maybe come off it and learn a little bit. But it's just like, I like that they're not related. I like that it's just random people who aren't related to Sydney. Again, it's a nice breath of fresh air. Like, if your movie is the same every time, it's gonna be boring. And that's kind of like the point of Scream, right? Is this this is just so subversive that they don't understand the subversion of the Scream meta text joke of Scream being a joke of slasher. So now this is just a very straightforward slasher movie with missing Scream elements, which again they make fun of in the movie. They do. Mitzi does the whole run through the list of suspects, and they're like, no, we're not going to do this because this is stupid. We don't need to do this. And then I've seen people complaining about how, like the Stu Macher thing with the AI deepfake. Like how that's stupid that they did that. How they should have brought Stu back. I think if they bring Stu back, that would have been stupid. Like he's dead. He's been dead for like 30 years. Don't they? And they make fun of that too because they talk about bringing legacy characters out of the grave. Like this is not Scream like Revelations or something where Stu Macher gets revived or been alive for some reason somehow for the past 30 years, just been in hiding, not recognized, even though he committed a prolific crime that got national attention and a movie made out of it. He's just been hiding away. Like again, they talk about this in the movie. They have the characters directly address it in the movie. I guess it's because they just didn't look at the audience and say it's stupid to bring back legacy characters, especially legacy killers, that they just didn't get it. It's it just drives me crazy. It would have been stupid if they brought Stu back. I thought the AI deep fake was interesting because it's something that you can do now. Is this is something again that happens in the real world that people are like, this is stupid that they did it. But this is stuff that happens in the real world. So again, Scream has breached the real world. It has broken the 27th wall and reached reality for for things and people just don't they're just not comprehending that is stuff that can actually happen to people. And that's why I think the discourse is so funny. Because again, like all this stuff is addressed in the text of the movie. You just have to watch it and not be an asshole about it. I think I think too is just this one thing of I just don't know if people like having fun anymore in movies. And I kind of blame like this whole elevated horror stick that's going on with like Get Out and Midsummer, where it's no longer like horror can just be fun horror. It has to have like a something to say about reality. And people just I just don't think they like having fun with movies anymore. Everything has to be deeply serious and contextually relevant and like smart and subversive, even though like Midsummer is not like subversive. It's not even it's just a standard horror movie. What? And it's a good movie, but like elevated horror just makes me laugh. It's such a stupid thing. That's a tangent for another day. Um, but yeah, I just don't think people like having fun at movies anymore. It's unfortunate because I had a lot of fun during the movie, and the people that were sitting in the row, a couple rows in front of me and Andrew, were also having fun. Like they were laughing too. Like just have fun with the movie. It's really just not that deep. It's not something to be mad about. If you're looking for deepness and Scream, maybe don't go to another movie. Like like I don't know, Oppenheimer is the next movie theater down. Go watch that instead. Um, Something else I want to mention I talked about in my intro was I think movies look kind of ugly now. This one actually looked kind of nice. I could actually see things happening during the night scenes, which was nice. It didn't look like dog shit, and maybe that's because it was on a movie, like, theater screen and not on my TV. Maybe I'll rewatch it on my TV and see if that changes, but for now, I like that you could see things at night. That was a nice change of pace. And yeah, since this has gone on really long, I could ramble forever, but I'm not going to. So basically, my takeaway is I like this movie. I think you should watch this movie. I think you should also, if you watch this movie, take a second to look at the discourse around it because it's far more interesting than the movie itself. Um, but don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about half the time. Go watch the movie yourself and make an opinion on it, you dingus.